I want to share some information with you today that you may not be aware of that can impact your revenue model. So, as a new business and as a startup, I think we have the impression that we're just going to go on Google AdWords, we're going to find some keywords, we're going to make a pay-per-click ad, set it up on the right side of the search engine, and everything's going to be good. Actually, pay-per-click has a risk for fraud. And the questions I think that will come out of this conversation are, do we even know what pay-per-click fraud is? Do we know what this could be costing us? And what are we going to do about it? So pay-per-click fraud is actually when a pay-per-click ad is clicked, and whether it's a person or it's done with software, the click on that ad, the intention of it is not to do business with you. So click fraud is about the intention of the click. So why is this a big deal? It's a big deal because it's very costly. It costs Google about $1 billion in lost revenue a year. If you have a lot of fraudulent clicks, that can reflect negatively on your rating, and you won't be able to join a good network. And up to 20% of pay-per-click traffic is fraudulent costs. So what are the types of pay-per-click fraud? There's competitor, network, mislabeled traffic, and impression fraud. So competitors would be your competition, your online competition, clicking on your ad only to drive up your pay-per-click costs. Network could be anybody in the network. It could be Google clicking on your ad to increase revenue for them. It could be a third-party publisher. Some of you contract to place the ad and monitor it. They could be clicking on it to increase their revenue and Google's revenue. It could be people at tugodogtoy.com, employees, family members, friends, thinking that they may be helping you, or they're curious to see what would happen when they click on the ad. And it could be customers who, instead of bookmarking the site once they go to it or writing it down, they always access your site through the pay-per-click ad. Mislabeled traffic is a network issue. And that would happen, let's say, as a dog chew toy. Let's say somebody is searching for a dog toy, like a For Real Friend dog toy on ToysRUs.com, and let's say the Tuggo dog toy pay-per-click ad popped up there and somebody clicked on that when they were actually looking for a child's dog type toy, that would be mislabeled traffic. Impression fraud is intentional, usually done by a competitor, where they cease their pay-per-click campaign, let your numbers become skewed, lower the TuggoDogToy.com rating, and then they would resume their pay-per-click ad campaigns. So how is pay-per-click fraud done? It's done automatically with software and bots, or manually where people actually click on the ads. The people who click on the ads can be individuals, or they can be people employed by what they call a click farm, which is where people click on ads all day long, and how much money they make depends on how many sites that they click on. So how can we detect it? We can detect it automatically with software and web-based hosted type programs, or manually. So why is this important to Google in the big picture? It's important to Google because they can't, it costs them money. It costs them money when they can't generate revenue, when they have to return money. Most of their money comes from the advertising. They also now have to employ teams to do analysis and look at flags in the system. And it also leaves them open to litigation and lawsuits for being negligent in even taking measures to control this fraud. So what is Google doing about this? They have automatic filters. They have proactive analysis where they have a team that investigates abnormalities, and they also respond to companies like Tuggo who submit their own analysis and their own reports. So what can we do about this? What I recommend is we have a 6-type tier strategy. So one thing we can do is we can set a ceiling on bid prices for keywords on the content targeted sites like on Google. If we decide we're only going to spend so much on dog toy or chew toy, we need to set a ceiling on that. The other thing we need to do is keep an eye on competitors. So we need to monitor our online competitors who are using the same keywords in the search engines. I also have a couple of recommendations for that. The third thing we should do is track our campaigns. I have a few recommendations for that. I think we should only advertise in specific countries. Countries that have a poor economy may be more susceptible to link farms that employ people to fraudulently click on websites. I think we should target high value sites for our ads, and I had made recommendations for placing your product on Amazon.com, Petco, and PetSmart. I would stay away from low quality ad sites, and also purchasing programs that could generate reports. Now, the purchasing of the software programs, there is one program for $30 I think we should buy. I think right now there are enough free type software and web-based hosted programs we can use, especially in the first month or two for this. So I think the anchor for this entire analysis would be a good audit plan. And I think what we need to do is we need to identify what metrics we're going to audit. We can look at different kinds of software, and I have a few recommendations, and create benchmarks. And I think we need to review these. I think because this could be a cost that could put us out of business very quickly if it's not monitored. I think in the beginning, after this initial meeting, we should set metrics, set a benchmark, and then get together weekly until we have an established system. I can monitor this and report out bi-weekly or monthly, but I think in the beginning we really need to get our arms around this before we get too deep into this Google pay-per-click ad. So for monitoring competitors, Click Forensics I think would be good. It's free. I think this one is good to look at because it has a large network. They have upstream and downstream insights, and they can restrict delivery of the pay-per-click ad to certain sites. This is worth looking at, and it's free. Another one for competitor monitoring I think would merit being looked at is AdWatcher. AdWatcher is free for the first month. It's about $30 a month after that, based on 5,000 clicks a month. This one is good because it can detect and combat fraud, it says, and it helps you manage your campaigns. I think this would be a good benchmark to look at as far as the Google management system, as far as managing campaigns, and see if maybe the Google system is biased or if it's giving you as much information. For tracking campaigns, Google Ad Performance and the Google Account Performance I think are pretty standard. These are good because we can set up certain types of reports and we have the information live. These are both free. PPC Secure is a web hosted report. I like this one. This is a $30 one-time fee. What I think is interesting about this one is that it has detection. It notifies you immediately by text or email when there are abnormalities in activity. And the other two things it does is it warns the offender that you're watching them, and it blocks them from future invalid clicks. I think that has a lot of merit in looking into. For $30, I think that one is worth trying. Vericlicks I think is also good. This is free. This is real time. They have custom reports. You can set notification thresholds, and they compare your pay-per-click activity on different networks. So it's not just Google. If you set up on Yahoo, it can check that as well. Click report, I think, is good. This one is about $30 a month. This might be a little further down the line after we've exhausted the free options. It gives you details. This one I think is good because it gives you details on the IP addresses that are the offenders, and it gives them pop-up warnings on their screens and who the high hitters are. So I think this one's worth looking at, but not at this time. So if we follow the continuous improvement model for plan, do, check, act, and this is a continuous cycle, like once we do something, we plan it, we do it, we check our results, we take action, and we go back to the planning part. So I think we should follow the 6-point strategy. I think we need to look at the free analytic and report tools. I think we should do the one tool, that's the $30 initial investment. I think we need to get together weekly to review the results. And also I recommend that we reach out to people in our network for information on effective click fraud software and things that people have done. I have reached out to a few people already who are also startup small business owners just to get their take on what they're doing about it and how informed they are. And I think that would be interesting if we can kind of collaborate and find out what's going on in the industry, like what people are doing in our area and what people are doing. Is it different, between service and product-based companies? I think that all has merit. So if you don't have any questions, these are my reference slides. And that's all I have. And thank you very much.